The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Everyone, then, who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house upon the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house upon the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against the house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it." The Gospel of the Lord. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, and blessed is also he who stays in the name of the Lord. In our first reading, we are reminded about keeping faith. And faith is belief in things yet unseen. And believing in things that you don't see depends on your view on the one telling you about the thing, or your own perception of things that exist, or maybe even with your past life. If you have been cheated so much in the past, it becomes so hard for you to trust. And therefore, mistrust becomes your foundation. And we have so many foundations in life that shapes our life and the way we behave as human beings. There are people who will naturally love because they have experienced love for a very long time. Maybe they experienced love as their foundation when they were young. There are others who will be very hard to love. They will be even very hard to give love to. There are people you love, ni wale unapenda lakini hawapendeki. And it probably is the foundation. In English we say, the first cut is always the deepest. You will always remember that first cut. You will remember the pain and relate each other pain in a cut from the first cut. Jesus talking about foundation today, he is reminding us that our first cut is that we are cut like iron or anything is cut from its original metal or original ore or original whatever it is. We are also cut from God. Like when God wanted to create the fish, he talked to the sea. When he wanted to create the tree, he talked to the earth. And from the earth, the vegetation came. From the sea, the sea creatures came. But when he came to create the human being, he talked to himself. So our foundation is in God. And when we don't have a connection with God, then our foundation is shaky. A foolish man will keep his foundation in so many other things other than God. Jesus is reminding us our foundation is God. And when our foundation is God, everything will stem from God. Everything we do will stem from God. And it will not fall at any given time because it is our essence of being in God. When we do charitable act, this is the time that every group we'll go, we'll do charitable things, we'll go to a children's home, we'll go to everything. But they only do it once a year. They are just social workers. We will only do one thing, maybe for public relations. But do we have the heart to keep on doing? Why do we only do one good act in December and do 1,000 other acts that are not related to the one act? Every act of charity must be at the top so that everything else that we do will hold up our charitable act. If we only do a charitable act at the apex, and then on the floor are other bad acts that we have been doing, whatever we do will crumble. So we are reminded, let us remember our foundation. Our foundation is in God. We are created from God. Let us keep that foundation firm. Let us keep ourselves always in God, and all our other actions will fall in place in God. Tumsifu Yesu Kristo.